Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's we'll be reviewing the BMW Alpina XB7. Before we get into this video, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to the BMW Pleasant Grove for giving me some time with this X7. I'll include a link to their inventory in the description down below. If you have any questions or need any help, just ask for Brendan. And then also include a link to my car buying guide. Let's get right into it. Powering this is a twin-turbo 4.4-liter V8 that goes through an 8-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy 16 around town and then 20 on the highway, with power outputs being 631 horsepower and then 590 pound-feet of torque. Before we move forward with this review, I do want to mention if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. So starting with the hood, you guys can see pretty cool lines there with the X7, and then I love the headlights here. So you got the split light design, and look at this kind of like crystal effect with the top light. That's really cool looking. And then you can see with the brush trim on the grille, and putting it all together, definitely big and in your face. Now on the side here, our tire wheel setup is 285 by 35 by 23 in the front, and then 325 by 30 by 23 in the rear. Now taking a look at the wheels, these are special for the Alpina version of the X7. You can see the Alpina logo there. And then look at the brake caliper painted blue. It looks really sharp. And then love the body painted fender flares. You can see everything else is pretty much just blacked out. But yeah, those wheels, they really pop on this. And this leads us to the key fob, if it'll focus. Got the BMW logo that also functions as a remote start function and the lock function. Unlock, you've got the opening for the hatch here on the side, and we'll pop it open. Nice weight to this, by the way. Now popping into the rear, we've got a cargo cover built in from the factory, and this has the cool split gate. Basically, you've got the tailgate section there, and then you've got the hatch at the top section. But yeah, with the third row folded up, it is a little bit more crammed when it comes to space, but you can throw the third row down if you need even more space with this. And notice that that's really easy to do because of this functionality here. And I like how you've got like max passenger, max cargo. They just make it really simplistic with the overall functionality. But anyways, you don't have to press this separately. Basically what you can do is just press this at the top and it'll close the whole system together. Really cool taillight design. You got your XB7 badge here and then the BMW logo with the Alpina badge. And then look at the exhaust tips here at the bottom. Super aggressive. Got the receiver hitch there in the center. Yeah, this is a good looking SUV. Now let's take a look at the door panel here. Really nice trim. You can see the stitching goes across. Sunshade built in from the factory. And really nice trim ambient lighting strip there. Got all the controls for the window, sunshade, all of that. And then look at these seats. Really nice trim down the center section. And then we've got all of our adjustments there on the side. And then popping in is pretty easy. Step up a little bit, but it's not bad. Legroom's great. This is so cool. Look at that like quilted design. It's a little USB port here. And then we've got the vents there on the center. We've got our own climate zone here in the back, heated seats, all of that. Some USB ports, cup holders as well. And yeah, I would say these seats are really comfortable. Now with the third row, they actually get a sunroof in the back. That's a cool feature. And look at the seats. They're just as nice with the design down the center. You can fit adults back there, but like I've said in previous videos with the X7, I would kind of reserve it more for kids. But it's a spacious third row overall in the segment. Now taking a look at the front door panel, you guys can see with the stitching and all of that. And down below, got all of our window controls. You can see with the mirror adjustments, mirrors power fold in. And we've got our memory seat function, massage seat function, blind spot monitoring with the mirrors. And then here's the front seat. See with all that trim perforated all down the center. And all of our adjustments on the side. And then see with the pedals down there, and then your light controls as well. And then really nice trim all across the dash. So taking a look at the steering wheel, really nice material use all around, and I like the stitching here in the airbag cover, another Alpina logo, and look at the finish for like the practical controls, really fancy looking. And then you can see we've got traditional stocks here on the back. Got the Alpina logo in the full digital gauge cluster here, and then when you change the drive modes, it does kind of change things, but again, it's got that custom Alpina look. which I think is pretty cool in the gauge cluster. 360 camera system with this really good resolution with the system overall. And then this is BMW's normal infotainment system. So quick response time with the different functions. Everything's, I think, pretty self-explanatory, pretty easy to use. And like I said, we do have massaging seats, so that'll pop up here when you press the button on the door panel to customize that. Really nice grainy finish here on the wood trim on the dash. And then you can see XB7 there, and then we got some more physical buttons down below. And this is really cool. Look at that Alpina XB7. That's so pretty. But yeah, it's just basically your storage area for the wireless phone charging pad and all of that, and then you kind of just click that back into place. Look at this crystal shifter. It's really cool looking. You can see all the physical controls here down below. And then this is cool, the infotainment system, Alpina on it. And then we do have the adjustable suspension. Good storage space. I like this trim. I think that's nice as well. And then you got a premium headliner. I mean, that's kind of expected in a luxury car like this. And then we do have another sunroof up front. So here's our window sticker for this Alpina XB7. Base MSRP is $150K. We do have some options. Total MSRP $159,695. And well, let's sum things up. Let's talk about visibility here. You can see visibility of the hood, has that display. Both the mirrors do a blind spot ring. Throughout the rest of the rear. So cool to see that rear sunroof. And, well, let's talk about the Alpina here. So, Alpina is not, so like BMW, right? They have the M, that's kind of like AMG. Alpina is not, I mean, it does some performance stuff, but it's not full on performance. It's kind of like Maybach to Mercedes in a way, but cooler. That might be controversial. The reason I say cooler is it adds, like the Maybach's just like full on luxury. This adds some luxury touches, but it still adds some like cool performance looking things. So it doesn't, it's like luxury, but you still have a performance appearance. So I don't know. I think that's a cool way to go about things, if you ask me. And when it comes to performance, yeah, it's got plenty of power. And again, this has to go through the break-in for it to go higher than the lower red line that this is currently set at. But even just these BMW engines have so much low end torque that even just at that lower red line, it is a monster. It's really cool. So basically you get all of the cool X7 stuff, tons of power, drives great, looks really cool on the outside, especially with those wheels. Those wheels are just perfection. And I've seen like on the aftermarket side of things, Alpina wheel, when I say aftermarket, I mean like used wheels. Used Alpina wheels are insanely expensive because, yeah, it's that cool factor. So overall, cool car. Can't talk too much about the driving dynamics, but it feels, I mean, if you're wondering in terms of the driving, it basically drives like a more comfortable X7M. That would be a good way to put it. It's like an X7M, more comfortable. So I mean, I guess if you've driven the X5M competition, imagine that, but more luxury. That would be a good way to understand how this drives. So if you have an X7M competition, you're like, I want the speed, I want the power, but I want a little bit more comfort. That's kind of what this does. I mean, I almost see this as like a Range Rover, kind of like it reminds me of a Range Rover in a lot of ways. It's got the air suspension, it's got the luxury, and they even share the engines now, funny enough. But let me know what you guys think about the Alpina XB7.